Paul, welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you doing?
Doing all right. Let's get it started. Good to see you, sir. I've seen your face in a couple shorts here.
Yeah.
Your legends around the Reveel'd community. You seem to have acted with everybody. Your IMDb is extensive, and you once even played a water bottle.
I did. It was fun. and there's I did another film with that kid, and I play a panda.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's cool. It's going to be fun. Yeah.
That's fun. I mean, animation is something as a filmmaker I'm trying to venture into. I just keep putting it off because it looks like a lot more work than I'm ready to to put forward.
Yeah. Well, that's how I feel about Instagram. And apparently it's really easy, but I'm an idiot with technology. So people say, you're on Instagram? I said, I am, but I have no idea what I'm doing.
My social media abilities are like, I'll just post something every couple days and see if people follow along. I'm trying to be authentic with it too. I think there's too much, there's too much the look at me, I'm just trying to gain a following thing versus just, I think the real way to do anything is to be authentic.
Yep.
and grow it as it goes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, let's chat about. So you end up in some of these juicy, longer format short films that are on Reveel'd.
Yeah.
Most short films are somewhere between 5 and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And you've got a couple of these half-hour whoppers.
Yeah.
I mean, so the three things we're going to talk about today are Stray, Adventures of a Water Bottle, and Hell's Company. I'm going to go with Adventures of a Water Bottle first because this is so unique. I've never seen anything like it. Maybe if you can tell our audience who your character was and the basic premise of that animation.
Yeah. My character is Water Bottle John, and he is hell-bent. He's this pompous sort. He speaks in very booming tones, and he's hell-bent on getting from the kitchen countertop to the recycling bin because he sees his reincarnation as something beautiful. And there's a little cup of yogurt in the trash saying, you're not going to make it. No, you're not going to make it. So there's a back and forth, and it's just funny. There's no big, deep message in it. It's just a water bottle trying to get to the recycling bin and an empty cup of yogurt giving him a bunch of grief for it. And it's just funny. It was so much fun. I had worked as a kid, Edwin Pritchard, or Pritchard, because he's British. So maybe it's Pritchard. I don't know. But I worked with him on a film a couple of years ago, Escape 2120. And he said he was doing animation. I said, keep me in mind. So he did. So he got me to do that. And it was fun. And he's doing other stuff. I'm going to be a panda and one coming out soon, I hope, and it will be on Reveel'd.
Finally, time to use your inner panda.
Yeah,
right? We're all looking for that opportunity.
Yeah. Pandas are like, the one bear that I think won't kill you. Maybe they will. I don't know. But they look so. Oh, maybe that's a koala. Maybe a koala is a gentle one. But yeah, panda bears are just adorable. So yeah, and I'm adorable.
Your credit is the only cast member in it. I don't know if that's Reveel'd tagging, or did you play both characters?
There was Edwin. The other kid was in the Water Bottle John. Yeah, no, he was in it.
He was listed as the star, and the other person got left behind in the middle.
Well, I guess he must have got second billing. I guess because
Yeah. I think it's interesting though. It's always a fun way to put there's a good social commentary and good social message in there about
there is
things for the earth, and I think it's always interesting to me when they if you're going to aim at children and have a good message, put it in animation. I mean, I remember how I learned so much as a kid from Schoolhouse Rocks and things like that. And I used to see these little cartoons that would pop up between other cartoons that had less of a message, G.I. Joes and the He-Mans of the world. So with that, when you're voice acting, do you how do you keep yourself animated? It's not the same as being on set when you can move around and really embody the character. You just stood or sat in front of a microphone. Like as an actor, how do you make that interesting and still find the character while you're in a stationary position?
I know it's weird because you're alone. I mean, I've got a rudimentary sound booth here in the basement with mattress foam around me, and so you just have to pretend you're there, which does call on your acting skills. But I'm a very animated person. I like to move around, so I find myself acting physically during it and bouncing around and trying like hell not to bump into the microphone or the desk or whatever to send shockwaves to it. So yeah, I got to get physical when I act, and I love parts that require you to move around, pace, whatever. So yeah, no, I exude a amount of physicality in doing voiceover, just to keep in pace with whatever it is I'm doing. You know, if it's quiet, obviously you're going to be quiet, but if it's, you know, you're doing this booming oratory, like in What About John, you just kind of want to do this, you know, and just get into the character physically as well as emotionally. But it's a challenge. I started out doing theater, and I thought theater was purest form of acting. I started that in 2007, I think, and I thought that was it, you know, because you're telling a story A to Z, and you're on stage 2 hours. And I thought, you know, film was what a cop out that is, because you get to do it a million times. And then I started doing film. It's like, holy crap, this is an entirely different skill set. It's fantastic, and it's fun, but it's way more tiring than theater. I don't care how long you're stuck in a rehearsal. I mean, you rehearse for a couple hours and go home. I mean, a film, you could be there, you know, 12, 14, 18 hours. At Hell's Company, we were there for almost 20 hours, one day shoot. Very long day.
That's a good segue. Tell me about Hell's Company and the role you get to play there. What I like about each of these films is you know, I get to see a great range of your acting, because none of these are quite like the other.
Yeah.
So give us the setup for the logline or pitch for Hell's Company and the character that you play.
Well, Hell's Company is Doc. I forget his last name. Doc something. Anyway, he is a bad guy from the past. It's set in the 70s. And he orchestrates something to happen. I don't want to give too much away, but for these other two people to show up who have wronged him. And he's a well-known criminal and killer in wherever neck of the woods this is set in. And he gets them there, and, you know, doesn't end well for them. So that's it. But I met Bradley Grenon is the filmmaker who did it. My one and only foray into background, like legitimate background extra work, I did on Castle Rock up in Central Mass. And
I watched season 1. It's a very interesting concept.
All right, yeah. I was there was a scene in the church where the pastor's giving a big speech, and I'm one of the members of the choir sitting up on the stage.
Okay.
It was weird, but I'll never do it again. It was just, they treat you like crap in background. It's just you're a cattle, you're a number. But Bradley,
because you did it backwards. You started as a theater on the stage, and then in film and TV, and then try background. You're supposed to start and then realize how much you don't want to do that, and then go the other way and break away from it. So your wings had spread. You were too far gone from the nest to be right back in as a background.
Well, yeah, I do everything backwards anyway. But but Bradley was a PA, and he was at the desk checking people in. He was taking phones, whatever. And at some point, he came up to me before we went out to set, and he said, "Hey, before you go, I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you after," or something like that. I said, "Great, they're going to bump me up." I was all excited. Sissy Spacek was in this. I said, "I'll get to be with her," and I did meet her. She's sweet. But so he came up with this Hell's Company thing. I said, "You look just like this guy, Doc." I can't remember his last name.
Doc Henry.
Doc Henry. Thank you. He said, "You look like Doc Henry, sort of." So, you know, maybe we'll talk. So we just did a script read in the basement of this church where they were filming upstairs. Had to keep it kind of quiet. And said, "Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, you're going to do this." So we went back a month or so later, the same town. It was a hideously wrong ride. To work with Chris Fisher and Carl Croner, two really great actors themselves, and little cabin in the woods with a porta potty out back, and it was just freezing cold. It was November. It was just, so it was good to get into character that way, because these guys were miserable in a miserable place, and we were technically miserable in a miserable place because it was so freaking cold and raw. But it was fun. It was just so much fun. Evan Schneider was the DP on it. That was the first time I worked with him. I love him. I've worked with him.
Great. It's got a really,
oh my God.
Aesthetic.
Yeah. And the music, I mean, just that low buzz that gets bigger and bigger. Yeah. There's a sense of a building sense of foreboding and dread that I really like about it.
There's a nice, you know, Hans Zimmer, obviously one of the best at his craft, does that often. The Joker theme of The Dark Knight just has that, like, we start here and it's just going to keep like pushing that nerve, just pushing. Get to the, which I really like, and that it's a gift because the music alone can't do it. The you know, the acting, the editing, the pacing that the director's given, all of that mood has to build that tension together. You can't just put the music in. So it's very well crafted by the entire team. I like that story. you know, you didn't enjoy your time as being an extra, but you got cast as the lead in something by being background on a TV show.
Right.
And I think that's important too for anybody interested in getting into film. It's like, you know what, take whatever jobs are around, because you never know who you're going to meet. And you know, you have the prime example of the PA on this set is going to be the director of something you do later. So also be nice to everybody, even if you're not necessarily enjoying the process of the big machine. You just never know where your next collaboration is going to come from.
No.
Business,
And it's a lot
fascinating to me.
So much is word of mouth. I mean, you have your reputation as a good guy, and I do treat everyone nicely because I'm still fascinated by how this all works, and right down to crafty. I love talking to them, what their training is, you know, where they came from, their chef or whatever. And you just get a reputation as being a nice guy, easy to get along with. You know, just show up, shut up, and do whatever they tell me to do. And that's basically the best acting advice there is. But yeah, you're right. If you can make connections just by being a nice guy.
Speaking of nice guys, what about the team over at Fat Foot Films?
Well,
The movie Stray that you made with them.
There are exceptions to the nice guys. I love those guys because they're, you know, much younger than I am, but we all get together either, you know, physically or on social media, whatever. We're just idiots. You know, it's just what would Johnny Damon used to say something about the team of idiots, or what, a happy idiots, and that's us. I mean, we just bust chops because that's what guys do.
Yep.
We have this tremendously low level of humor that we set the bar so low that anything goes. But it's great, and they're so creative. They're really, really great bunch of guys.
I've only met them over Zoom, and having Ryan here on the show. But I'm very inspired by their energy. You know, I've been in this game long enough, but you know, I'm not jaded by any stretch. I'm still enthusiastic, but you know, there are ebbs and flows where I go like, oh, this is such a slog. But I meet people like that are just so fire. I'm like, you guys are actually giving me the energy and reminding me of that sort of charge that I need to kind of keep moving forward. So tell me about Stray, the plot of Stray, and then your wickedly awesome character you get to play in this.
Well, the plot is an older man, and the joke is they had originally written my part as a father to be the father of this wayward child who comes home. But then I showed up, and they said I was so old they had to make it a grandfather part. That's fine. But it's this sheriff an older guy whose granddaughter comes to live with him because her mom died. And as soon as she turns 18, she's going to take off. And so I begrudgingly take her in because I'm kind of a miserable old guy. And I didn't treat her mom well. No, wait, was that it? Yeah, that's it. No, I didn't treat her mom very well. So there's friction and tension between us that slowly goes away, and we bond and all that. But there's a supernatural element to it, or a thriller element, horror rather, in that there's a creature, there's werewolves enter into the story. And it's alluded to and it's mentioned, and we craft a story around this beast type thing, but it doesn't show up until toward the end. This CGI thing that they did so briefly, they did it really well, that it just carries you into the believability of the story. It's not, I'm not hit over the head with constant CGI of werewolves eating people. It's just one brief look, and it really it forwarded the story nicely. I mean, it just shows you can build a horror, you can build that kind of tension and that kind of theme without necessarily relying on technology.
And it feels very nice. Like it feels like it fits. It's got a bit of a retro vibe to it. Like it fits in sort of like the 80s horror realm, almost as if this is like a Stephen King story they adapted that we just somehow didn't get published and we didn't know about. I really enjoyed that kind of world building for it. And great effects, great look again. You know?
And those guys, I mean, it's just so much fun to work with. And my only rule that I have to myself is I have fun on the set no matter what. I don't care if everybody's miserable, I'm still going to have fun. and they're just fun. They were just fun to work with. They were just, like I said, busted each other's chops. Poor Morgan was the only who played my granddaughter. Morgan Baltese, can't remember. She's got 3 names. That always screws me up. But she was a doll, and she was just like one of the guys. I mean, she would just jump right into the foray and just joined our little, cadre of idiots. So she was terrific, and everybody was great. It was a wonderful, wonderful experience.
What got you into acting? You said you started in theater in 2007, which technically makes you a late bloomer, as we call anybody who didn't start at age 6. We call a late bloomer.
Yeah.
What drew you to the stage?
I'm a writer by trade, and I was doing a story on a guy, Kurt Columbus, who was then the new artistic director at Trinity Rep in Providence, which is a very well-regarded theater company. And I'd always wanted to do it since I was a kid. I would just act out scenes in my head. I would pretend to be looking into a camera, sitting on my bed. You know, I just did all this stuff and made up stuff in my head at home or in a car or whatever. But I never had the courage to try it. I tried out for the drama club at Seekonk High School back in, 60s. And I walked onto the stage and saw the machinations, saw the backdrops and the empty seats and everything. And it scared me. And I just walked away and never came back. Well, not never. I didn't come back till 2006. Did the story. Was surrounded by theater. I saw some great theater. And I was watching the kids at the Brown University. They have a program there through Trinity, MFA program. And I was just taken by it. And I went to a couple of shows. And this one guy went to one show, Cherry Orchard. And one of the players in the beginning came down from behind me and stood next to me. And I just looked up at him and I could see the intensity in his face, see the hairs in his arms. And I almost cried because it was so electric and so immediate and so energizing. I said, why haven't I tried this? And so long story short, I went to try out for a play in Marion where my girlfriend lives in a play called Later Life. I think it's a Gurney play. And I got the lead in that. I said, well, that's kind of fitting, Later Life. And I went out on stage and just never looked back. I said, I belong. I need to do this. I need to do this all the time. So I just started doing theater for 4 or 5 years and then slowly got into film. Now I don't do theater anymore, except with the nonprofit that I'm with. We do stories about addiction. So now it's film all the time. And I just absolutely love it. But that's what happened.
And
I just finally
have amassed quite a resume in film and TV because I feel like you're like a local legend, at least. Is most of the stuff you shot around kind of the Boston, Massachusetts area?
Yeah. Oh, I just shot a film out in Indiana. I'm going to film a pretty big film down in North Carolina at the end of the month. I was up in Canada doing Witnesses, which is a movie about the founding of the Mormon faith, which is weird because I've done 2 faith-based films and I'm the least faith-based person on earth.
I am an award-winning Christian music video director with an ounce of Christianity in me. So
isn't that funny? Because I was on set at one, they're kind of religious people, so I'm just kind of like shrinking back when they do prayer stuff. So, okay, you guys carry on, but they're nice. They're really nice.
Service table.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, we got his body of Christ. Is there anything else?
I was born and raised a Catholic, which is maybe why I've gone the other way now. But I always thought that communion hosts are awful. If you put like Dorito dust on these things, you'd have a much better showing. I mean, you gotta put some flavor into those goddamn things.
Fair enough. Yeah, it is interesting, but that's the great thing about storytelling, even with music too. Listen, a great song is a great song. A great story is a great story.
Yeah.
And whatever, a lot of stories, a lot of filmmaking, novels, songs, all have some political, religious, like worldview, social viewpoint, and it doesn't have to be heavy hitting. And people of all denominations of faith or lack of faith, or all backgrounds can all work together. And that's one of the things I always love about my journey in filmmaking is the people that I get to meet from all walks of life. Like you were saying, like I was sort of nodding my head. I wasn't on camera with you, but talking to people at the craft service table and things like that. It's like everyone has a story, and I'm just a people person. So
well,
even hosting Reveel'd and getting to chat with fellow creatives like this just constantly inspires me to kind of keep that journey going, keep some form of remaining humble and then just enjoying other artists' stories.
Exactly. And it's funny because they call actors talent, and I'm like that bothers me because the craft services is talent. The gaffers, anybody doing anything that I can't do is talent to me. Because I couldn't do it without them. Maybe they could, and they couldn't do it without us. So it is a symbiotic kind of relationship. But you have to respect everybody on a set because they have a job to do that I couldn't do if you held a gun in my head. So yes, they are the talent. Okay, we all are the talent. So.
Everyone's the talent. Yeah, the credit I hate the most in the film industry, and this is just personal opinion, is a film by Gavin Booth. I will never use it because it's a film by everybody that worked on that damn thing. Unless I held the camera, like unless I did every job on the set, then it's a film by. So that really, it's supposed to be used to market a film. So you say, film by Steven Spielberg, and people go, oh, I will go buy a ticket to that. Or the 9th film from Quentin Tarantino. That has marketing value. When you go like a film by Gavin Booth, people go, I don't know who the hell that is. Like, it doesn't matter. So like market the film on the strength of the film.
Speaking of quick aside,
go ahead. Go ahead. This is all Zoom calls now.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Go ahead.
Quick music video. I've done a few videos of Joyner Lucas, who's an up and coming rap star from the Worcester area, who my boys at Fat Foot Films know. Yeah. And I did we did a concert intro video that we ad-libbed. We did that. I did it's called I Love video. It's got like 78, 80 million views, which is ridiculous.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah. And I also did more recently his ADHD album. There's 2 cuts on it with this really, really creepy therapist voice. That was me. So nice. I love that, because I was looking at all the comments. Oh, guy's creepy AF. I was, yeah, that's me. That's me. I'm the creepy dude. And it was fun. I mean, again, it's his voice, but it was in a little sound booth. And anyway, since you make music videos, I figured you'd appreciate that.
I will definitely go check this out. I'm a big fan of music videos. But look what we've done. We've just recorded the longest episode ever of Reveel'd, and I feel like we're just getting started. So your mission is to get more of your work, more of the directors to get their work on Reveel'd, so we can have you back on and have a whole round 2, you know?
Yeah, there's another one coming
for hours.
Yeah. Oh my God, there's another one coming out. It's going to run soon. I hope they've got to be loaded up and everything, called HR. It's this really funny, sarcastic look at human resources, and I had never seen it. We did it 2 years ago. It screened once. I never saw it. I just saw it for the first time a couple of days ago. Wow, this thing is funny. So let's get this on a Reveel'd. So,
awesome. So it's just called HR.
HR, yeah.
So HR coming to Reveel'd soon. Right now, people can check out Stray, Adventures of Water Bottle, and Hell's Company already there. So if you don't know what Reveel'd is and you're finding us here on YouTube or Facebook or somewhere else, it is a wonderful streaming service. You can find features, short films, documentaries, animations. It is free to sign up. Your membership is always free. It costs you nothing, and you get an amazing variety of content. You can see the films we talked about with Paul here, and all the wonderful creators we've been discussing today. So I hope people sign up. I hope, Paul, I hope you have an account. I hope you're enjoying your time poking around Reveel'd and watching other people's work.
Oh no, it's great. It really is. It's a terrific resource. I love it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. And
Thank you.
That will be all, sir. Signing off.
All right. Thanks a lot.